My name's Tyree Jamar, former college football player turned actor. I just got done shooting my first feature film as the lead character, actually. So I'm excited about that. It's called Brothers by Choice. Follow me on Instagram, Tyree Jamar, T-Y-R-E-E-J-A-M-A-R. I'll keep you guys updated when it's going to be released. And I also have another episodic coming out called Loyalty. Should be out next month. I'm making this Can I Be Vulnerable video mainly because, in life we all go through shit. We all struggle and go through things, but not everybody decides to share it. A lot of people internalize things, which I do a lot too. But recently, I shared a little bit of my story, and BJ hit me up and asked me to be on the series. I found therapy within football. Football was my way to release whatever I was going through. If I was struggling with something, I could just release all that aggression and get it out. Like I said in the beginning, I internalized a lot of things. So football, I loved it. It was my escape. It was my way out. I can just, whatever I was going through, trouble at home, I could just take it out on my opponent. Fresh out of college. I'm still in this in-between stage, should I still pursue football or do I need to find a professional career? Right. So I was lost. I was depressed. I was struggling, with what am I gonna do with my life? That transition, so I graduated 2012, 2013, I'm training pro day, doing all that, had my pro day. But that whole year, I was depressed because long story short, I didn't make it to the league. I didn't get the NFL calls I expected and thought I'd get, even though it was looking promising in the beginning, but life happens. So that whole year I was depressed. Yeah, so once football ended, because when I was playing, it was off. I couldn't see past football. People used to ask me, what are you gonna do if it don't work out? What you mean? Exactly. I remember my ex asked me one time, she was like, so what if you don't make it to the NFL? And I looked her in her eyes and I said, I would rather die. And I meant that shit, and she felt that. I could tell by the way she reacted. Right. And the truth is, I did die. Yeah. That part of me died.
Yeah, that's part of that self.
Yeah, and it had to in order for me to really reinvent myself. So once I started doing that, I started noticing all these other things I'm good at. I'm real creative. Just how my personality was. I'm really silly, goofy, love to have fun, and I love, just making creative videos and that art. So I'm like, what if I start pursuing this? Let me open it up a bit and start pursuing this creative lane of my mind that's expanding. And that's kind of how I got involved in acting. Started doing background work, and they needed real football players for commercials, and that was easy. I just got done playing, I'm in there. So I was doing background work for commercials, playing ball. And then I was just like, what if I took this serious? I was booking things off of just raw talent. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't take any class, never. I took theater in college, that's just for easy A.
Easy A, yeah. GPA, yep.
Exactly. So actually, I audited my first class, acting class. It was Tasha Smith's class. And I learned so much in that one class. I didn't know how much work it took to develop a character and what you had to do. And I just thought that was, just so beautiful and powerful. I'm like, to see that final product, it was almost kind of like magic, stepping out of yourself. And as an actor, you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's the same with football, so the correlation between the two, and I always tie it together, it's crazy how similar it is.
Yeah.
So once I, started taking class and pursuing it seriously, I grew a newfound passion for acting, and that in a way is my new therapy. So without football, I didn't have that escape anymore, but I found that through acting now. Right. And it's not that you're talking to somebody and it's comforting. You're actually going to places that you've locked away and don't want to go, and you're giving it to this character to tell a particular story. But by doing that and kind of just taking yourself to that level and going back to those places, it what helps me is that somebody wrote this story, So if you're able to relate to this character, somebody else went through this. So by you being able to tap into what you've went through that's similar to someone else's story within this story, you know, that's therapeutic in itself, at least to me. Even though I don't have somebody like consoling me or letting me know it's gonna be all right, it's consoling to know that you're not the only one going through it. And I think for a lot of people that just helps a lot in itself. You know, knowing that you're not alone going through this, struggling, and you know, people have been there, and that point they were in now is the reason why they're at the top now.
What motivates you?
My mom is, I would say, my biggest motivation. She, just everything she sacrificed for me. I remember high school football, we had 6 a.m. workouts. And when I found that out as a freshman, I'm like, what are we doing at 6 in the morning? We practicing? Like, I don't think we were even practicing. So my first practice, I showed up in my uniform. Everybody's in their workout gear. And they looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, what? We actually work out. But I was just like, man, I'm not doing this. I had hoop dreams. So I was like, I'm about to play basketball. Like, I'm not playing football. But my mom woke me up every morning and took me to practice at 6 in the morning. And I ended up getting a full ride football scholarship. You know, so I owe that to her. You know, I owe her my life, like everything. She worked 2-3 jobs, had to just travel, like pick me up from school, go to work, like, and she was working way in Van Nuys. I'm going to school in Bellflower. Like, she just, and
That's
traffic.
Miles, bro.
Traffic. So it worked out that I was in sports. You know, I'm in school from 6 in the morning.
For a long time. So she ain't got to necessarily rush.
Exactly. I had late practices, but you know, I saw the sacrifice. I knew how hard it was. You know, so I owe her the world. So I'm fearful of the unknown. You know, I don't like not knowing. So in a sense, I guess I can be a little bit of a control freak. But that's life. There's a lot of things you don't know. Especially like all the way up until college and not making it to the NFL, I did everything I said I was gonna do. And this is way before I knew what manifestation, you know, really was, what it was about. But I remember as a kid, even before I started high school, I knew I was gonna get a scholarship, play ball. I didn't know it was gonna be football. I played basketball too, ran track. But I knew it, and I would tell my mom, I'm gonna get a full ride scholarship, don't worry about paying for college. Did that, boom. I remember my coach from high school, as I'm going off to college, was like, he looked at me, asked me, he's like, so you gonna redshirt your first year? And I just felt so disrespected. I'm like, what? I'm playing. I don't know how, but I'm about to play as a true freshman. Boom, get there, play as a true freshman. So then, you know, my next time I'm going to the league. Boom, it was close, didn't quite happen. And that's when the devastation set in, because I didn't know what was gonna happen next. What I fear, I believe is commitment. You know, it's kind of two-sided, because I know if I commit to something, I'm all in. You know, that's it. So that's why I'm very cautious of what I commit to. You know, so a lot of times I'm very guarded, especially when you first meet me. Like, I don't open up right away. But I've gotten better with that as I've become more open to being vulnerable. You know, and sharing my story with other people, and just opening up to even strangers that I don't know. But yeah, that's, you know, that commitment thing is you gonna get all of me. I'm either all in or I'm not. For me, being a man means, you know, no matter how hard times get, no matter what you're going through, no matter it just seems like the odds are against you, you're gonna push through. You're gonna persevere, and you're gonna overcome these obstacles. You know, my dad always used to say, you gotta roll with the punches. You know, you're gonna keep getting hit, but you gotta keep getting up. And also, a big part to me about being a man is being a man of your word. You know, what's the saying, word is bond. Like, without your word, you have nothing. You know, before we had all this materials and things like that, we just had our word like, hey, I'll get back to you. If not, it's like, I can't trust you, you know? So integrity, you know, that's a big part. Another weakness, I would say, I overthink a lot, I overanalyze. And it can kind of get away of, you know, something that you did that was beautiful, you know, or good, but you over here overthinking and nitpicking, like, oh, I should have did this, or I don't really like that. Trying to be a perfectionist. But really, perfection is in the imperfection. How has healing impacted my relationship with others? So like I said before, when I was depressed, after not making the NFL, I was able to internalize and kind of just go through my own thing of my own self-healing. But by me being in that state, being in that very vulnerable time in my life, I was able to become content with how things ended up playing out, even though I didn't agree with them. But I saw it for what it was, and there was a bigger plan for me. So by me going through that, I'm able to not only relate to people going through the same thing now, I can share what I went through and let them know that, you know, yeah, you had this planned out, but there's a bigger plan for you.
Right.
And yeah, you may think this is your dream and this is what you really want to do, but you haven't really seen the world yet. You haven't explored. You're young. You know, you have a lot of living to do, a lot of growing to do. Right. So healing has changed me by, you know, simply being able to be comfortable sharing my story and, you know, not be ashamed of what I'm doing. And even now where I'm at, I mean, I've healed, but I still have healing to do. You know, I still have a lot of growing to do. I'm not where I want to be, you know, but I know I'm on the right track. Healing is peace. Growth is necessary. Depression for me, a big part of me in my life, something I've always done is working out, you know, so it affected me working out. And the reason I like working out is the way I feel after. Even though I don't want to do it, like it's like therapy too. It's self-healing. You just feel good. The endorphins kick in. But I wasn't really doing that as much. I kind of just went away from working out, put on some weight, you know, got a little chunkier. And I was going out a lot more. I never smoked weed before, and I started smoking weed. That was something I said, like, I'll never do in life. I started drinking more, partying, going out, messing with girls, like just being just out there, you know, just wild, not really caring, just trying to figure life out. And then I was working a lot too. You know, I was working full-time job, then I had a part-time job at the bar, so I was working about 6 days a week, you know. You know, I was even hustling, you know, hustling out there, doing things I didn't need to be doing. So yeah, I was in a space where I needed to find myself. I was lost, you know. Just know the reason you're going through these things is there's a purpose for it. It's not, I know a lot of people think they got bad luck or bad thing after bad thing just keeps happening to them, but there really is a purpose for that in your life. And it may not, honestly, it may not even impact you directly, but the impact it can have on somebody else can be life-changing, and that in itself is enough. So again, I'm Tyree Jamar. Follow me on Instagram at Tyree Jamar, and don't be afraid to share your story. Somebody need to hear it.